For sure, them belts coming with me. They coming home with me. I'm telling you right now.
You can see it, but it's gonna be difficult. You take it to your home.
I'm taking them. And ain't nothing you gonna be able to do about it come fight
and
night.
I know Turkey is in your corner,
I promise you.
But look, it's gonna be very difficult. He's gonna be so mad that day. Believe me.
Despite promising no trash talk, Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez quickly forgot their vows as their press conference descended into a heated war of words.
Because we are true fighters.
Yeah, two fighters.
True fighters.
True, yeah, of course. No, not YouTuber fighters.
Huh?
Not YouTuber fighters. Yeah, of course.
They need to talk and talk about the fight because they want to say something. The people know we are great fighters. They want to put a great fight.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk.
I am sure in the end
The two fighters abandoned all respect for each other, trolling like they would any other opponent. You can probably guess who started it first, can't you?
I see you. I see you. You see I'm different.
I see you too.
You see I'm different than all the other ones.
No, I see you. No, you don't look different. You're nothing different.
I'm different.
Nothing different.
I'm different.
We'll see.
You gonna see. You know it.
We'll see.
In the bout billed as the fight of the century, Alvarez dismissed the idea of a close contest, with American Crawford stepping up from light middleweight. Alvarez had previously downplayed the blockbuster fight, believing he had nothing to gain from beating a man who started his career at lightweight. When probed on the damage a loss to two-time undisputed champ Crawford would inflict on his iconic record, a cool as ice Canelo, 34, replied, "He's not going to beat me."
He's not gonna beat me. Don't worry about it. He's not gonna beat me. Don't worry about it. I think this fight is gonna be in the books of the history of boxing for sure. That's for sure.
He's a great fighter, but he's not Canelo. Have the experience, Alvarez said at a news conference. They only focus on my power, but I have more than that. This fight is going to be one of the best fights on my record. Alvarez, 34, may be the younger man by 3 years, but having made his professional debut at age 15, with 11 world titles, 27 world title fights, and 67 bouts in total under his belt, the Mexican has been cast as the man to pass the torch to. Crawford, "He's not going to beat me. Don't worry about it," Alvarez answered at one
streets, you and Canelo, what would it look like?
Come on, man. Yeah, I know what I do. I ain't got to talk about it on the streets. I'm me against anybody. I ain't never gonna say another man gonna whoop me. So, you know what I mean? That's your answer right there.
I guess in Guadalajara, you think it'd be a little different on the streets if Terence came to town?
I think every city, every place is different, no? It's different. But we don't talking about the streets. We're talking about boxing, the beautiful sport of boxing. So that's different, way different than the streets.
26 bouts separate the rivals, but Crawford, 37, has a record most fighters could only dream of. With 19 consecutive world title bouts and 2 undisputed championships, Crawford promised he would become the first male 3-weight, undisputed, champion, in a classy nod to his American counterpart, Clarissa Shields, who has already achieved this feat in the women's code. "I'm taking them, and there ain't nothing you can do about it come fight night, I promise you. See, I'm different from all the other ones." Canelo, who has won titles all the way from 154 pounds to 175 pounds, countered, "You don't look different. Nothing different," describing himself as a winner and telling Crawford that nothing distinguishes him from...
However I gotta fight, I'm gonna win. Simple as that. I'm not gonna let somebody else force me or tell me how to fight when I've been fighting my whole life. You know, I won't be running. You know, I could tell you that. But I will be, you know, doing a lot of touching.
Give me wrong. He's a great fighter, like I say, he's not Canelo.
Alvarez made his pro debut at age 15 in 2005. While Crawford was 20 years old when he made his in 2008. Crawford, who is being publicly backed by Alalshik, said this is the fight he always wanted. I called Canelo out. He is the last great fighter. Amongst the era that surpassed us, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, and Oscar De La Hoya. We both came up in that era. He got the chance to fight them. I wasn't able to get those mega fights. This is my mega fight. This is my moment. Crawford has not returned to the ring since last August when he beat Israel Madramov for the World Boxing Association light middleweight title. Meanwhile, Canelo.
I'm very excited, motivated, because this is all about. I want to make history, and I'm very excited for this fight. He's not gonna beat me. Don't worry about it. He's not gonna beat me. Don't worry about it. I think this fight is gonna be.
He now headlines on Netflix at the Las Vegas Raiders' $1 billion 65,000-seater stadium against Crawford, who says there is no way he loses to Canelo in the ring or otherwise. He said, "Come on, man. You know what I do? I don't have to talk about it on the streets, me against anybody. I ain't ever going to say another man can whoop me. That's your answer there." But Canelo hit back. We're not talking about the streets.
However they rate me, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we got to fight, and I'm going to win the fight. As simple as that.
Can I ask you about if there's any rematch clause with this fight with Canelo?
No, it's not.
Is that something you push for?
No, I didn't.
And there's any weight restrictions to the fight at all?
No, it's not.
After that brief back and forth, press conference host Todd Gisham pressed both fighters on their mindsets ahead of the upcoming clash. Crawford said his focus isn't on what might happen if the fight goes to the scorecards. Instead, he's looking to control the controllables. I can't focus on the judges. I've just got to focus on doing what I can do and controlling what I can control inside the ring. That's going out there and winning the fight decisively, he said. Like I said before, any fighter can be knocked out. Canelo's got a granite chin. He's tough. He's durable. We've seen him hurt a couple of times, but not to the point where it's not respected. But given the right circumstances, anybody can get knocked out. I'm always going to rise on the big occasions. I always did my whole career. This is my moment, and I'm not letting Canelo take that away from me. Simple as that. With Crawford moving...
A lot of fighters would like to put on a weight restriction to this type of fight. Why didn't you want to do that?
Because I want him at his best. I don't want no excuses. I don't want no, reasons why, he didn't feel good or anything. I want him at his best.
But the Mexican superstar has been successful on several occasions while being the smaller man in the ring, and said that size won't be a consideration for him as he prepares to face an undefeated two-weight, undisputed champion on September 13th. I've been in his position before, and I'm not thinking about that, said Canelo. I'm just going to do my job and take everything seriously and not think about it smaller or bigger. I always prepare myself for the best fighter out there. A winner, I'm always thinking about the win, and I'm coming to win. My mindset is different, and I'm very thankful with it.
You say from memory that you first thought this fight was a real possibility, that you started thinking about this fight actually happening?
Well, I started thinking about it, a couple of years ago when they started talking about Spence fighting Canelo. Then just, sizing him up, like, all right, how tall is he? How long his arms and things like that, just sizing him up like that and going to his fights and things like that. And
with the fighters setting the stage for their epic clash, the two protagonists signed off by sending messages to their respective fan bases ahead of fight night. They know I always come to fight. I always come with my best, and I just thank them for all the support, said Canelo, and I hope they will be there watching or in the arena cheering for me and enjoying the win. Crawford rallied his fan base to arrive dressed to impress as they make the pilgrimage from Omaha, Nebraska to Las Vegas, and Bud vowed to make history by dethroning Canelo and adding...
Of experts that think Canelo's not the same fighter. His punch output's a lot less. What do you think, considering the last 12 months or so? Is he the same fighter he was maybe a few years ago?
I think he is. I just think, he just wasn't up for the skull fight. And I think, different fighters bring different, energies out of other fighters.
A lot of people are judging you on the Madrimov fight, saying you struggled moving up in weight, you're going further up in weight, and they're saying that's going to go against you based on the Madrimov fight. How do you kind of reply?
I just tell them, suit up, he said. We're about to bring some more jewelry home, and it's going to be an exciting day for boxing. History will be made. Terence Crawford will be the first male boxer to become a 3-weight undisputed champion of the world, and I mean that. The fight will be staged at NFL-side Las Vegas Raiders Allegiant Stadium in Vegas, which holds 65,000 people. It will also be the first event that UFC President Dana White's new boxing outfit will promote. A partnership with Saudi's Turki Al-Alshik that almost...
De La Hoya wastes my time with this question.
Yeah, we saw Oscar De La Hoya trying to say that the fight was going to take place maybe in the daytime.
Yeah, this is what I want from you, to say his name. I decide with Dana White to have a breakfast in MGM at 10 a.m. inshallah. Then we will go to the arena to have the fights quick.
Al-Alshik himself was given a seat at the top table, while White was not present. The press conference began with opening remarks from His Excellency Turki Al-Alshik, who revealed that he'd had dinner with both fighters on Thursday evening, but now that those pleasantries have concluded, the real business of preparing for the fight begins in earnest. I want to thank the two legends, great fighters. In the end, it happened thanks to God, he said. Before 12 o'clock, we had dinner together, and that's it. They were professional yesterday in front of me.
After that, we will go dinner to Carbon, and in the night we will watch Conjuring because it will launch in September. Oscar De La Hoya wastes my time with this question. Of course, this is in the peak. This is the boxing, the sport number 1 in the world. This is Canelo and Crawford.
The chairman of the General Entertainment Authority has been the hand of power and driver of incredible Saudi investment in boxing in the last 18 months, but has not often sat among the fighters at public events. Al-Alshik outlined his demands. Two of the greatest fighters of their generation in the opening remarks, slamming Tom and Jerry fights and insisting they must deliver smashing face. The beginning of a 3-city press tour that included Las Vegas and New York gathered. Media only asked Al-Alshik questions before he left the stage. It took almost 25 minutes before either fighter spoke. Saudi Arabia has invested huge sums of money into sport in an effort the kingdom says to diversify their income revenues as a nation, but continue to face accusations of using sport as a vehicle for sports washing and propaganda. But with Al-Alshik set to embark on a new venture of super fights broadcast on Netflix and creating a new promotional entity to do so, the Saudi investment...
This is what I want from you, to say his name. I decided with Dana White to have a breakfast in MGM at 10 a.m. inshallah. Then we will go to the arena to have the fights quick, and after that we will go dinner to Carbon, and in the night we will watch Conjuring because it will launch in September. You waste.
I want to speak to you about some of Turkey's comments. He said he doesn't want Tom and Jerry, people running away in the ring. What did you make of that?
I agree with that. You know, people want to see a good fight. And I agree with that.
Do you think
because, you know, people come and spend money to see a great fight, and if the other fighter come and run all the night and don't make a good fight, it's a deception.
He is Turki Al-Alshik, also known as His Excellency, the central figure in Saudi Arabia, becoming a big player in professional boxing as a deep-pocketed promoter. I hate Tom and Jerry's kind of boxing, Al-Alshik said, referring to the famous animated series as well as boxers who run from their opponents. I am sure Alvarez and Crawford will deliver for me smashing face and blood, and this is boxing. He did not provide specifics, but his message was clear. Alvarez and Crawford will be expected to deliver despite recent history. Terence Crawford faces off against Canelo Alvarez during a press conference in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, ahead of their super middleweight title fight in September. Alvarez is coming off a lackluster victory over William Skull by unanimous decision in May. The crowd booed as Skull spent most of the fight running from Alvarez, who...
I waste my time with this question. Of course, this is in the peak. This is the boxing, the sport number one in the world. This is Canelo and Crawford.
All right, on the left-hand side here.
I think he saw your fight with Skull and potentially came to the conclusion.
we talk after. We talk after about that, and it's very sad. But you know, it is what it is.
I know.
I hope not. I hope not, because we expect a great fight, the fight of the century, right? So I hope not.
Crawford has not fought since August 2024, and that was an unforgettable bout too. He beat Israel Madrimov by unanimous decision. Like Alvarez, he heard boos during a fight that included no knockdowns. Alalshik suggested he didn't want a 12-by-12 ring to ensure adequate action for the fight, but apparently he thought it would be a good idea to have dinner with Alvarez and Crawford before the press conference. "We talked yesterday, and they are professional," Alalshik said later in the press conference, "but I think starting from last night, they know what they need to do." Neither Alvarez nor Crawford sounded as if Alalshik's words will have great impact.
You heard His Excellency saying no more Tom and Jerry, no more running, but you're moving up 2 weight classes. It's not going to be smart for you to stand there and hammer it out with this guy. So how do you kind of balance that, not running, but being elusive in fighting Canelo?
However I gotta fight, I'm gonna win. Simple as that. I'm not gonna let somebody else force me or tell me how to fight when I've been fighting my whole life. You know, I won't be running.
Crawford, 37, is moving up to weight classes 14 pounds to fight Alvarez at super middleweight. His standing toe-to-toe with Alvarez would enthrall the fans and perhaps create the fight that Alalshik wants. But don't count on it. "I'm not going to let somebody else force or tell me how to fight," Crawford said. "When I've been fighting my whole life, I won't be running, I could tell you that, but I will be doing a lot of touching." In defense of Crawford before the fight. Against Madrimov, he'd won 11 straight fights by knockout. Alvarez, 34, suggested his fight would be one for the history books. But it's...
Well, listen, I called Canelo out because, like I said, he the last great fighter amongst the era that surpassed us. You know, the Floyd, the Pacquiao, the De La Hoya. We both came up in that era. And he was right there with those fighters, and he got the chance to fight the Miguel Cottos, the Floyd Mayweathers, and you know, the Kovalevs and Triple Gs, and I wasn't able to get those.
If Alvarez had been listening at the dinner or at the press conference, he'd know that's not all that matters to Alalshik, or largely.
Your Excellency, Tazzy Brown from Australia, FightHot.com. First of all, congratulations for everything you've done for boxing. Since you've come into the game, you gave us many great fights, and you continue with Your Excellency to keep giving us greater fights. You're a boxing historian yourself. Do you think this fight resembles Marvin Hagler Sugar admitted in the 80s? The fact that Canelo and Terence Crawford are the 2 great pound-for-pound legends, both first ballot Hall of Famers in the future.
Alvarez's next knockout will be his first since 2021 when he finished Caleb Plant with an 11th round TKO. Maybe it's something His Excellency will address during another dinner with Alvarez and Crawford. Back to boxing, the news conference ended. With the traditional face-off, the attention then turned to the 2 men set to battle for undisputed super middleweight gold on September 13th in Las Vegas, as we heard from Alvarez and Crawford for the first time in a press conference setting.
Terence cannot do.
No, don't get me wrong. He's a great fighter, like I say, he's not Canelo. Obviously, I'm been in this situation for a long time, and I have the experience. They only focus on my power, but I have more than that. And I think this fight is gonna be one of my best fights.
Dramatic music blared during it, with Alvarez being the first to look away in an emotionless stare-down. Retired 3-weight world champion Mosley locked horns with Alvarez back in May of 2012, falling short in his attempt to dethrone the Mexican. Icon of his WBC super welterweight title at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. In an interview with Boxing Social, Mosley was asked if he believes Crawford has what it takes to defeat Canelo. Taking into consideration that the 37-year-old from Omaha is making the jump up in 2 weight classes to face the Mexican star. Said, no, I can't see it. I can't. See it because Canelo got skills too. It's not like he doesn't have the skills like Crawford has skills. Yeah, I'm just saying if they both fought at 154, right? Canelo was who he was at 154 and they both fought.
I think Canelo's too big for Crawford. I think Canelo's too big for Crawford. I think that the reason why, if Crawford was a mover like the rest of us, then maybe he could have a good chance with Canelo. But I think that being that Crawford is a fighter, that's gonna be dangerous. That's gonna be his problem. He's a fighter. He wants to fight. He's gonna move a little bit, but his heart is not in moving. So he's gonna have to sit there and fight with Canelo. And if you sit there and fight with Canelo, and he's that much bigger than you, then I don't know.
Canelo has proven to be a major player at super middleweight since he moved up from middleweight back in 2018, defeating the likes of Gennady Golovkin, Guillermo Charlo, and Jaime Munguia during his reign. A victory for Crawford would see the unbeaten 37-year-old capture an undisputed championship in a 3rd weight class. It's becoming the first male fighter in boxing history to accomplish this feat. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events,